Hi and welcome back. You're listening to The Prophet of Clarity. Today's video is titled San Bernardino Shooting False Flag. Now, in case you are unfamiliar with what a false flag is, by definition, false flag operations are covert operations conducted by governments, corporations, or other organizations which are designed to deceive the public in such a way that the operations appear as if they are being carried out by other entities. Now, by using that definition, let's look a little closer as to why this event is a false flag. There were over 400 state and federal vehicles to that location in less than 15 minutes. Now, let's use some common sense here. If there was a shooting at, say, your local mall or school, would 400 vehicles be able to get to that location in less than 15 minutes? No way possible, unless they had some prior knowledge that an event would take place and they were already en route to the location. Also, take a closer look at the cops in the news coverage. Why would police officers be walking to an active shooter? They weren't running. Heck, they were barely even jogging. And none of the officers in the video coverage had weapons on them. This makes no sense at all. Finally, this one really takes the cake. There were lawn chairs and coolers set up within 5 minutes of the event being broadcasted. Now, why the heck would you take out lawn chairs in an active shooting? Unless it is a staged, planned, and known about event and they were just going to watch a show. There has also been numerous confirmed reportings claiming that training drills regarding active shooters were taking place earlier that same day. Now, that does seem like a coincidence, but I will take you back in time to 4 other recent incidences. First, we have 9/11. Now, that same morning, they were conducting training drills regarding what would happen if planes flew into buildings. Second, we have the Boston Marathon bombing, where the cops were conducting training exercises if a bomb were to go off in an event where there's a lot of people in one area. The cops during that day were also tweeting and telling civilians that, hey, if you hear explosions, not to worry, it's just training drills. Third, let's look at the Oregon shooting. There were text messages received from students earlier that day saying how they were preparing and training if there was a shooter on campus. Finally, same thing happened with Sandy Hook. Earlier that day, they were preparing what would happen if there was a shooter in school. Now, you can't convince me that is a coincidence where all 4 examples, they were running training or exercise drills, and a few hours later, an actual real event happened. If you're watching the news, reading the paper, listening to the radio, what's the same exact message that is being pushed? Gun control. On Thanksgiving, during President Obama's speech, he vowed that 2016 will be the year of gun control. He's been pushing this and trying to paint the idea in people's minds that guns are bad, especially assault or automatic weapons. Finally, today, President Obama was making a speech regarding this incident. And his entire speech was focused on how legislators should pass laws to try and prevent future mass shootings. Obama claimed how people now feel helpless and that there's no way to stop or prevent these shootings. Well, I mean, yeah, if you ban guns or make it harder for the average citizen to acquire, those people at San Bernardino were entirely at the shooter's mercy. I mean, I would much rather be armed and be able to take my life into my own hands and be able to save tens or hundreds of innocent people from a killer than have him decide my fate, or much less have to hope and pray the police or the military come quickly to save everyone. At the end of Obama's speech, he was quoted saying, "We will make it harder for people to have access to weapons." This is a direct violation of the Second Amendment to the Constitution. That has been one thing that President Obama has done all throughout his presidency. He's been ignoring the Constitution and superseding it by implementing rules and regulations wherever he deems fit. Reports are coming out saying how the shooter had automatic rifles and semi-automatic pistols, and they claim they were purchased legally 4 years ago. But here's the kicker. They don't know who bought them, and they can't trace them. So yeah, the guns were probably purchased legally at the time, but they were probably sold illegally to these killers. The attacks in France was a start of increasing false flag events, and you are seeing more happen frequently. Just 2 mass shootings in the last week took place. Mark my words, this will continue, and you will see more of this until the government and the people pulling the strings get and push their agenda on the people. Thanks for taking the time to listen to the video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. If you liked the video or you learned something, or better yet, if it made you think and question what's really happening, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and until next time.